Guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button while I get us set up here. I'm going to invite in some of my friends from Facebook. If Facebook will cooperate, Facebook never cooperates with anything. Um, but anyway, you know what? It's not cooperating, so screw it. I'll just talk to you guys over here. So here's the deal. Basically, there's some interesting stuff happening right now with Magic Johnson and Stephen A. Smith appears to be livid about it. You know, Stephen A. You know, he's pretty animated in the way he does his commentary. He knows his stuff. He knows his sports. He's built an incredible sports brand, and he appears to be a friend of Magic Johnson's. And so, anyway, the fascinating aspect of what I've been reading here is that it seems like Magic is being dragged pretty bad through the media. He's sort of being portrayed by a recent ESPN report. They portrayed Magic as kind of an abusive boss, like the boss from hell. And Magic and Stephen A. both seem to be concerned that this is not consistent with the truth. As you know, Magic worked with the Los Angeles Lakers for not long. I think it was like a little over a year and a half, something like that. And I guess the plans were to do all these amazing things with the team. But as you guys know, the Lakers are horrible. They absolutely positively suck. And is that the fault of Magic? Nobody knows. Nobody can say for sure. But we can say that one thing we know for sure is that they really do suck. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button, and all that stuff. I'm about to send out a text message to the tribe to let everybody know that we're live right now. If you want to get a text notification when we go live, all you have to do is type in Boyce, my name, Boyce, and text it to the number 31996. Send it to 31996. So type Boyce into your phone and then send it to this phone number, 31996. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. So I was reading this report on Magic, and basically ESPN saying that Magic, that he pretty much told them from day one. They're claiming that one of the first meetings they had when Magic got brought in was one where he kind of told them, look, I could replace you just like that. I've got 1,000 resumes up on my desk of people that want to work here. So I need you to do your job. Now, I guess everyone said at that point, or the person they talked to said, we were just stunned and shocked, and we felt that he wasn't an ally, or he was supposed to be an ally, but he wasn't acting like one. I think that Magic was being a boss. I think that Magic was a guy who doesn't like to lose. I think that Magic, was pretty much pushing harder than what had been pushed before, because the Lakers at that time, I think it was the third or fourth year in a row that they had not made the playoffs. And if you knew about Magic as a player, Magic just didn't like to lose. Magic was not a loser. So you got this guy that comes into your organization who is a winner, who's won championships, who doesn't like to get his ass kicked. And so you're going to get something a little bit different. If you get the same stuff you've been getting, then you're going to keep getting the same result. So anyway, I'm reading this here in ESPN, and it says, in the weeks after the Los Angeles Lakers 2016-2017 season ended in mid-April, with the franchise failing to reach the postseason for the fourth consecutive year, so 4 years straight of being a loser. Largely from, more than 30 Lakers staffers, largely from basketball operations, gathered at the team's practice facility in El Segundo, California. Before them were Rob Pelinka and Earvin Magic Johnson, who've been formally introduced in March 2017 as the Lakers' new front office leaders. With Johnson, an iconic player from the team's 1980s Showtime era, serving as its president of basketball operations, and Pelinka, who had famously served as Kobe Bryant's agent, as its general manager. Neither possessed front office experience, but were chosen by Lakers president and governor Jeanie Buss, who had fired the organization's longtime general manager Mitch Kupchak, and separately her brother Jim in February 2017. This gathering will serve as one of Pelinka and Johnson's initial attempts to address the basketball operations staff in a more formal setting and to make an impression regarding managerial style. In his remarks, Johnson expressed excitement about the task ahead, but also made it clear he didn't accept excuses or mistakes, and that those who weren't on board with the new management and their mission should leave, according to 6 staffers who were present. Pointing upstairs toward his office, Johnson drove home his point. He had a large stack of resumes sitting on his desk, 1,000 of them. Multiple staffers recall him saying, and he could replace any of them at any time. It was shocking, said one Lakers coaching staff member who was present. If you're going to be in this business, you bring enough pressure on yourself. You don't need more pressure, especially from someone who's supposed to be an ally. Okay. Yeah, but, I mean, I so far, from what I've read, I haven't seen anything that's a problem, honestly. I think it seems to me that Magic came in and just decided to make a play and to say, look, a new sheriff's in town. This is how things are going to go. I'm going to establish my authority and my expectations. I don't see anything there that's a problem so far. I really don't. It is a risk. I mean, when you call people out, anybody in here ever run a business before? If you're running a business, let me know. Especially if you're running a successful business, a business that's actually making money, not a business that's bleeding money where you're getting hung out to dry and you're getting your butt kicked. I'm talking about a successful business. Or has anybody ever been on a team, a winning team, a sports team? If you have, say something in the chat. Let me know. Have you ever been on a winning team, maybe in a sport, or just accomplished something with a group? One of the things that you know about that is that you can't sort of go in with a laid-back, laissez-faire attitude. You can't go into the situation trying to make everybody happy and comfortable all the time. You have to make people a little bit uncomfortable. You got to kind of let them know, look, I'm going to put a fire under your butt. I'm going to push you a little bit harder. We got to set high expectations. And when you look at the Lakers and how horrible they had been up until that point, I mean, the team sucked. I don't know what the revenue numbers were like, but it sounds like things were not good within the Lakers organization. I mean, this is Showtime. This is a team with a very storied, respected history. The okie doke does not apply when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. So, I take Magic's words based on what they're saying here to be him saying, look, if you don't want to be here, you ain't got to be here. He wasn't saying, I want you to leave. He was saying, if you don't want to be here, tell me. And then we could go ahead and just cut ties because I'm going to push this team to become a winning team. We're going to push this organization to a higher level. And that's what it's going to be, right? And I actually think that that's not a bad approach. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, what's interesting, though, and I'm going to keep reading more of this, but what's interesting also, and I told you guys this, I've mentioned this months and months ago. I told you, when everybody's winning, everybody loves the black man when the team's winning. But when the team starts losing, people start looking for scapegoats. They naturally start looking for scapegoats. And there's no better scapegoat that allows other people to deny their own accountability than the black man. That's why black men are the ones most likely to be accused of crimes that they didn't commit, including, robbery, murder, and rape. That's why black men, are the ones who get fired on their day off. Black men are vilified very easily, very quickly, because they're easily vilifiable in the media. Magic Johnson and LeBron James. I didn't expect Magic to be caught in the crossfire. I thought it was going to be LeBron, and it is LeBron. If you look at the reports on LeBron that have occurred since LeBron's been getting his ass kicked in the NBA and hasn't been winning championships anymore, the reports have been pretty brutal. They've been pretty bad. They've been, nobody wants to play with LeBron. LeBron is a tyrant. His agent's trying to tell everybody what to do. Him and Rich Paul are in there just wreaking havoc and causing chaos and all these other things, right? And so ultimately, this is what I'm sort of seeing here. I'm seeing a losing team who's looking for somebody to blame, and so I don't see anything there so far. Now let me keep reading, and then I'll let you guys kind of make the decision. Then I'll kind of tell you what Magic said. But then on top of that, as you guys know, you're in the home for intelligent black people. That's what our platform is. The goal is to learn something, from all of this, something about business, something about life. And so let me keep going. Let's see. Here we go. The message would set the tone for what many staffers describe as Johnson's confrontational demeanor over the next 2 years. If you questioned him on anything, his response was always a threatening tone, said a Lakers front office staffer who interacted with Johnson directly. He used intimidation and bullying as a way of showing authority. Again, bullying, intimidation, those are words easily applied to a 6'9" black man. Right? He's 6'9", 270 pounds, whatever he weighs. He's a big black man. So when you say he was intimidating, that's easy for people to believe. That doesn't just happen to people like Magic Johnson. It happens, on the job with any black man. I don't know if any brothers in here ever been called intimidating or threatening or scary, even though you weren't doing anything. You were blowing your nose or you were asking about, why your lasagna took so long or whatever it is. And they acted like you were about to go in there and murder everybody. I know a black man. I know a brother who works at a university, and he asked me to advocate for him on his case. It was a Title IX situation. If you don't know Title IX is it started off as this benign rule that says that women's sports should get the same support as men's sports. It was problematic even then, because what they're doing is they're extracting free labor from black males in revenue generating sports, football and basketball, billions of dollars a year, and they're using that to fund sports for white girls. That's what they don't generate revenue. That's what Title IX does. Again, that's a mass wealth extraction from the black community. In case you're wondering why I repeatedly remind you that the NCAA is racist. In fact, there's a story I'll cover a little bit later about a brother who totally skipped college basketball and went to go play in Australia. And I want to talk about that because I think those things are important. In fact, let me make a note. I literally have to write things down to remind myself to do stuff later on. I'm going to do a story about that later because I want to analyze that. So give me one second. Hit the thumbs up button while I do this. Please hit the thumbs up button. All right, so you guys have to forgive me. If I don't write stuff down like right away, that's another little tip, a business tip for anybody that's trying to, get things done. If you have an idea or something you want to do, write it down right then. Keep a notepad by your bed because your best ideas will disappear while you're sleeping, or they'll be gone in 5 minutes. So write it down right away as soon as you get the idea. Okay. So anyway, with that said, this brother was going through this thing where where Title IX is not just about it's not just about sports though. It's about gender equity, right? Or the guise of gender equity, which unfortunately has become a really abusive kind of white privilege sort of thing. This brother was a professor, a very distinguished, very successful professor, very good at what he did, had a wonderful track record. And there was a white woman who reported him because she said that he made her feel uncomfortable, right? Now here's the thing. So here's how they handled this. This was interesting. So they went to him and they said, "You're under investigation because you were reported, for a Title IX violation." And he's like, "Okay, well, who reported me?" They said, "Well, we can't tell you." He said, "Okay, well, what am I being accused of?" They said, "We can't tell you." So he went almost an entire year with a cloud hanging over his head where they're going around, they're interviewing his former students and investigating him, literally because one of the white females said that he makes me feel uncomfortable when he's in my space, when he's in the room. Like that's all she literally said, is that when his mere presence, so when he's there breathing, like breathing while black, when he's breathing while black, he's intimidating, he's bullying me, he's making me feel threatened. If that ain't some barbecue Becky shit, I don't know what is. So seriously, so basically, I'm not trying to say Magic is a wonderful guy. I don't know Magic Johnson. Some of these things may be true, and I'm actually going to keep reading. I'm going to give you my honest take on it. But this sounds like some barbecue Becky stuff. I bet you the people reporting this are barbecue Beckys who are like, "Oh, and I felt so intimidated because he told me what to do, and Negroes are supposed to smile and be friendly all the time. It scared me that he did I'm a victim." Right? Let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. By the way, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So let's see here. So when Pelinka and Johnson ascended to their post, there was talk of a new beginning. The start of returning the Lakers to greatness. The era was given a sleek new brand, Lakers 2.0. But the era was short-lived, culminating in Johnson's sudden resignation during an impromptu news conference on April 9th. he cited backstabbing and whispering as reasons for his abrupt departure. In just 2 years, what was deemed a bold front office experiment had failed. Again, this was not disconnected from the fact that the Lakers were just straight trash last year. I mean, anybody watch enough basketball at all, or even if you don't watch basketball, how many of you were aware of just how horribly bad the Lakers were? Like, how many of you were like they defied logic, expectations, probability, and every way, every way imaginable? Because I never thought that LeBron could get a supporting cast that was worse than the four corpses he had to play with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really thought it was not possible. Like, I thought you could get, four eighth graders and they would be better than the Cleveland Cavaliers were next to LeBron. But now I got more respect for those guys at the Cavs because the Lakers were terrible and LeBron didn't even get to the playoffs. Nobody's talking about him as the greatest player in the world anymore. They're talking about him as an old guy who needs a supporting staff. He needs to be a backup. He needs to go play with, somebody that's young and strong, and it's crazy. So all this kind of comes together, and again, it's business, teams, whatever you name it. The two things that can cause a team to have problems are either extreme success or extreme failure. Those are two things that can cause issues in an organization in a lot of cases. Extreme success, you got egos. You get everybody thinking that they did it by themselves and they don't need nobody's help. And who the hell are you to tell me what to do? I'm the greatest. I'm this, I'm that. I'm famous now. Now, I wasn't shit when we started working together. I wasn't shit when you met me, but now I am the shit. Back then I wasn't shit. Now I'm the shit, the only shit. And I'm going to just become a prima donna. I'm going to come in and act like I'm just the greatest thing in the world and I don't need anybody else, blah, 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 blah. And then next thing you know, egos start clashing. And when egos start clashing, teams fall apart, and then everybody loses because the team breaks up. Extreme loss, what extreme failure does is it causes the blame game. It causes everybody to engage in what is referred to as, in economics, we had a term for this. It's a psychological term actually called self-attribution bias. Actually, this is common in both extreme success and extreme failure. Self-attribution bias means that when I win, I tend to give myself most of the credit. I give myself more credit than I deserve when I'm winning. But when I lose, I give credit to everybody else. I don't want to take responsibility for that, right? So when the team's losing, it's like, oh, it's his fault. It's his fault. Look at the Houston Rockets. Anybody follow basketball? I follow basketball. I'm a black man. We follow basketball and hip hop. I've been doing it my whole life, right? Anybody seen the Houston Rockets? Now James Harden and Chris Paul bumping heads. Jalen Rose did a really great analysis of it. Jalen Rose broke it down and said, he said, look at the way James Harden plays. He wants to score all the points. He wants to be like Russell Westbrook, shoot the ball. But then when he doesn't run the offense and Chris Paul's running the offense, James Harden starts to get disinterested. He stands around. He don't run off the ball to try to get open. He stands behind the ball. He does all these terrible things that you don't do if you're a good team player, right? So they're bumping heads. The main reason they're bumping heads is because they ain't winning shit. They can't get past that. Second round? Golden State has their number. They're basically killing their legacy right before their very eyes. So that failure, either through extreme failure like the Lakers with LeBron and Magic, or that not meeting expectations, where you have high pressure. Harden and Paul have a lot of pressure to try to get over the hump. They can't get over the hump, so then you start seeing conflict, right? So I believe none of these issues with the Lakers would exist if the Lakers were a good team. That's just, even if they made like the third round or the second round of the playoffs or something, I don't think it will be as bad as it is right now. Anyway, let's keep going. Hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. All right. So during the nearly hour-long session with reporters in the halls of Staples Center, mere minutes before the Lakers played their final game of the season, which was a loss, Johnson made tepid remarks about his working relationship with Pelinka, who would now be alone in attempting to chart a new path forward for the team. 41 days later, Johnson's remarks about Pelinka were sharpened. In an appearance on ESPN's First Take, Johnson admitted that the duplicity and deceit were coming from none other than Pelinka, his general manager. Okay, so two things come to mind. So Magic's having a duel with this white boy, Rob Pelinka, right now. Two things that come to mind. I'm closing my eyes because I want to make sure I don't lose my 2 points here, because I want to make sure I make this clear. One, Magic is not built to be an employee. I don't believe, Magic was the GM or something, or whatever, president of basketball operations, whatever the title was. Magic is a guy that's worth $500 million. Magic is a guy who's used to running his own show. Some people are not built to be employees. Some people are only built to be bosses. Bosses are people like me. I'm not a good employee. When I used to be an employee, I used to get fired on my day off. I was not good at answering to somebody else because I felt like I was smart enough to have my own vision as to how I felt things should go. I don't believe Magic was built to be a good employee. I think that it was a mistake for Magic to take this job. Now, mind you, they paid him $10 million a year, which is great. The Lakers are a storied organization, but even then, I feel like it was a bad move for Magic to even take this role. Maybe his goal was something bigger. Maybe he wanted to be an owner of the team, or at some point, I don't know what the plan was. But if I were his friend, I would be like, why are you going to go work for this white lady? Like, it doesn't even make any sense to me. I don't think this is going to work out. That's the first thing. Second thing I would say is what you're seeing in media, in my opinion, is you're seeing crossfire. I believe that if Magic had walked away from the job and just said, look, hey, things didn't work out, I'm moving on. I wish him the very best. I honestly, I'm not going to say that there's anything wrong with him, saying what he had to say. He can do what you want to do, but just remember, when you shoot at somebody, if they have any balls attached to their body, they're going to shoot back, right? So basically, I believe that Magic kind of started this back and forth when Magic went out into the media dishing on what was happening in their organization behind the scenes. I'm not a believer in that. Again, y'all know I support Magic. I do believe this is some old, the intimidating black man scared me. Let's blame the black man. I do believe that could be what's going on. But I do think that Magic, he did start this. When he left the organization, I believe that if he'd been quiet, they would have been quiet. But I see this ESPN report as somebody, doing exactly what Magic said they were doing, working behind the scenes to discredit him. They're sitting here saying, okay, I can't go at you head to head. I can't go at you straight up because you're Magic Johnson and I'm not. That's what Rob Pelinka's probably thinking. But Rob is like, okay, I'm going to go sabotage this motherfucker. I'm gonna call up my friend who's a reporter at the such and such, make sure they have private access to key information and key people. I'm going to form strategic alliance. Remember, this man was Kobe Bryant's agent. So he was a power broker in sports. He was just one of those behind the scenes power brokers. But those behind the scenes power brokers are the ones who are moving the needle a lot of times. So at the very least, I don't think he doesn't seem like a person that's going to let this slide. Wait, you out here just dogging me? Like, you've now killed my credibility? Now nobody wants to come and play for the Lakers because they think I'm a bad person or a racist or whatever it is that you painted me to be. And I think Rob is a guy who's like, no, I'm going to get your ass. Right? So I think this ESPN article was a hit piece that was done as a counterpunch to Magic's initial statements about the organization. Maybe even Jeanie Buss herself was connected to this. So it is what it is. It's warfare. That's what happens. So moving on. So let's see. 41 days later, Johnson's remarks about Pelinka would sharpen. In an appearance on ESPN's First Take, Johnson said this. He said, "I start hearing, Magic, you're not working hard enough. Magic's not in the office." Johnson told First Take. People around the Lakers office were telling me Rob was saying things. So I started getting calls from my friends outside of basketball saying those things now were said to them outside of basketball, now just not in the Lakers office anymore. The conversation continued, but ESPN Stephen A. Smith wanted to circle back to comments about backstabbing. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that's a little chatty patty. They were backstabbing me. They was talking about me. Well, you're Magic Johnson. Like, people are going to talk about you. It's going to happen. So I think I'm not a fan of that. I think he could have just walked away. You're Magic. You got other things going on. You're making millions of dollars doing other things. Go do something else. Go start a sports team. Go get with Ice Cube and own a team in the Big Three league if you want to. Like just do something else and draw the attention to what you're building as opposed to having all the attention put back onto the Lakers and everything that's in the news. It's really making the Lakers look bad. There's an old saying that says when two people when two people are fighting, they both look like fools from a distance, right? So you want to be careful. This is just kind of a side note to everybody in here who wants to learn something from this. Be careful about getting into public fights with people. It happens. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes somebody comes at you. You got to defend yourself. You got to respond. I've even had to do that a couple of times. But a lot of the stuff, 90% of the stuff that I see that comes at me, I just sort of decide, I don't think it's worth responding to. Because if I respond to it, it's only going to distract me from what I'm trying to do going forward. So let's see. So basically, Magic seemed to have an out for this guy, Rob Pelinka. Magic was on Stephen A. Smith's show defending himself. It looks like Stephen A. is trying to help him really make sure he gets his words in. And so what they say in the article, they say on the court, the Lakers missed the playoffs. In LeBron's first season with the team, ended his streak of 8 consecutive NBA Finals appearances. Virtually all the Lakers' young talent was publicly dangled in trade talks for superstar Anthony Davis, sowing mistrust between those players and management and between those teams and James. Johnson and Pelinka allowed James' management team what was considered unusual access by many people around the team and the league. So apparently they're coming out the Magic now for what you might call Negro collusion. Those black men are all getting together and they're coming in and they're acting like they control the place, which I think is really interesting too. And so they're saying that LeBron James and his crew were allowed to have a lot of access that they shouldn't have had. And it says intentions boiled over in an early February locker room blow up. All of it put the organization in a near constant state of disarray, as epitomized on the night of their final regular season game when Johnson resigned without telling anyone in the organization, including Buss. 3 days later, Coach Luke Walton and the organization agreed to part ways. I'm going to tell you this. Let me just say this too. If you ever go work with somebody and you have an important position with that organization, tell them what you're going to do before you do it. Unless your goal is just to make yourself undesirable for anybody else that might want to hire you. People watch that shit. People watch that. Now Magic's going to be fine. Magic's got, he's worth $500 million. But the fact that Magic just got pissed and said, "Oh, I'm going to quit today," and everybody's like, "What? Wait, hold on, what?" Bro, that's not professional. That's just not professional. It's when you go and you honestly, what that does, that behavior, unfortunately for Magic, is it lends credibility to those who think that Magic is this prima donna who does whatever the hell he wants to do and does not take orders very well. And it wouldn't surprise me if Magic didn't take orders very well. He's Magic Johnson. He's the boss. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He don't need that job, right? So but this idea that you're just gonna deviate and again, that's what happens when the team starts winning or losing, extreme success or extreme failure. Remember that self-attribution bias. You had toward the end of the season, you had reports about how LeBron was off doing his own thing. The team had a huddle; they're all together. LeBron sitting at the end of the bench doing whatever he wants. Magic, the team's trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. Magic's doing a press conference saying, I just want everybody to know that I'm announcing that I'm leaving the Lakers because I'm Magic Johnson and I want to draw the attention on myself. I just really think a better way to handle it would be, like to go to Jeanie Buss, whoever you work with, and say, look, this is not working out. I'm going to move on. I want you all to know that I'm going to move on. Here's when I'm going to make the announcement. And I just want to make sure you're not broadsided because at the end of the day, I want to see the organization do well. And I think that if I was a Lakers fan, which I'm not, I like the Lakers. I'm just not a Lakers. I'm not overly loyal to any particular NBA team because I never grew up with one in my city. I grew up with the Louisville Cardinals, college basketball. That was my team growing up. I never connected to an NBA team. But if I was a Lakers fan, I'd be a little bit upset with everybody. I'd be upset, especially with those who started, this public stuff first. Again, if Magic had not gone public with everything, with all his grievances, all this wouldn't be happening. The Lakers wouldn't be in the news. So on one hand, Magic is saying we need to get out of the news. It's bad that we're in the news. But Magic put them in the news. Magic is a guy who, when he talks, people listen. So the media is like, oh, this is juicy. Magic's got a beef. Ooh, we're gonna. If Rob Pelinka had gotten in the news, I don't really think they would have paid as much attention to it. Or maybe a little bit, but not as much. Now, I agree with you. Maybe they broke a promise. Somebody mentioned, I saw somebody mention here, they promised Magic full control. They promised him this, they promised him that. That's fine. So they broke their fucking promise. Pack up, move the fuck on, be professional with your shit. Just, I'm cussing. That's not professional, right? But seriously, be professional, man. Just, say, look, this is not what I signed up for. I'm sorry. Because I've seen that. I've seen that in companies. I've seen people pissed to the ceiling, but saying, because I respect myself and I respect you for at least trying or giving me the opportunity, I'm going to just make sure that I give you a well-written letter of resignation to let you know why I'm leaving and what's going on, and we're going to move on from there. I'm not going to go out here blabbing to the media and creating chaos, especially if I claim to care about the organization I work for. Magic is a Lakers icon, and I don't know if the Lakers fans have a reason to be happy that Magic is playing a part in the destruction of the Lakers, right? So again, this is probably going to piss some people off that I say it this way, but y'all know I get to call it like I see it. I support Magic on some of it. Some of it, I'm kind of like, man, I think he could have done a little bit better. Anyway, after Walton's departure, Walton was the coach. The resulting head coach search, led by Pelinka, proved rocky, with the Lakers' top two candidates, Tyrone Lue and Monty Williams, turning down the job before Frank Vogel accepted. Williams took the same position with the Suns, and let's see here, Monty Williams. And the Lakers' negotiations with Lue, who was said to be their top candidate, broke down late in the process. Multiple staffers described the aftermath of these moves as leaving the organization in a state of shock and confusion. So they were looking for a head coach. It didn't work out, again, very publicly. They're pissed off about that too. According to nearly 24 current and former team staffers, ranging from occupants of executive suites to office cubicles, in addition to league sources and others close to the team, the Lakers under Johnson and Pelinka were fraught with dysfunction on and off the court. These sources, who feared reprisal, weren't authorized to speak publicly, described Pelinka and Johnson as managers who made unilateral free agent acquisitions, triggered a spate of tampering investigations and fines, berated staffers, including Walton, and creating an in-house culture that many current and former longtime staffers said marginalized their colleagues, inspired fear, and led to feelings of anxiety severe enough that at least two staffers suffered panic attacks. Now, first of all, just in case you want to know, if you ever become a boss, you can get sued for stuff like that, right? You can get sued for like driving your employees crazy and stuff like that. So don't ever think that anybody ever has absolute power. There's no such thing as that, right? Even when I was a teacher at Syracuse, I still teach now in the Black Business School, but when I taught at Syracuse, I learned very quickly that even the teacher does not have absolute power, or in a courtroom, a judge does not have absolute power. When you start thinking you have absolute power, you become absolutely corrupt, and ultimately it comes back to bite you. Just so you know that. What I really see, based on what I'm reading here, and again, this is based on me leaning on my instincts and my gut, as well, in conjunction with what I've read. I think Magic and Pelinka are just two guys who are not very good leaders. They're definitely not good co-workers, but when it comes to managing people, if these things were happening, unilateral decisions and constantly threatening the staffers and leaving them to feel insecure, stuff like that, that's just bad leadership all the way around. And really, the bad leadership starts at the very top. Apparently Jeanie Buss perhaps wasn't able to control what was going on with her two prima donna, between Pelinka and Johnson, who are in a pissing contest. And both of them are pissed off that the team is losing, and both of them have their own vision as to how this is going to happen. Pelinka's pissed at Magic. Maybe he's jealous of him. Maybe he's pissed off that Magic, is traveling for business or whatever. Magic is, pissed at Pelinka because he feels like Pelinka's talking behind his back. So it just creates a mess. So what I would probably say is, if I were Jeanie Buss, number one, I'd probably get me a leadership consultant. Give me somebody that's an expert on organizational structure and behavior so that you can manage your team in an effective way before you fuck it all up. Number two, I would probably do a scorched earth policy. Just get rid of everybody. Just all y'all, just clear the fuck out, and we're gonna start over fresh. We're gonna remake the earth in a beautiful way, and we're gonna create the organization we deserve. So for those of you who want to run businesses, just know leadership is not easy. Managing people is not easy. When I started running a business, I learned that there's a difference between being talented at what you do and knowing how to manage people and to get them to do what they need to do. You have to be effective at understanding those people, understanding the structure and the dynamics, knowing how to negotiate things in a specific way. I still don't have it mastered. There's a book, though, we recommend in our entrepreneurship program in the Black Business School called Traction. The book Traction actually teaches you a lot about how to hold people accountable while at the same time not becoming tyrannical. Leadership is something some people have it naturally, but a lot of people, most people need training in leadership. So one of the things that I did when I was sort of having some leadership dilemmas is I hired a leadership coach. And I told her about some of the issues I was running into, some of the things. Her name's Nicole Price. I love Nicole. She's very smart. And she would talk me through certain things and say, well, here's another way you can handle that. She showed me how different people have different personality types, and you got to deal with different personalities in different ways. She said, this person, if you say that to this person, they're going to think you're saying this, but this person is going to think you're saying that. So we started having all the people on our team take a personality test so we would know where they fit. And also how to put them in the right position, right? So there's a lot of business lessons to be learned from this. I think that Magic is a great guy. I think that Magic is being unfairly demonized to a point. Again, it's easy to vilify a black man in media, and I think that this is just the big scary black man intimidated me type story that you're hearing all over the country. You're always hearing this. You're going to see more of these from LeBron. Mark my words. If the Lakers suck again next year, you're going to see LeBron get dragged through the mud. I'm just waiting for them to come out with a story about a side chick or something he did behind the scenes or something, he stole a basketball when he was 8 years old. They're going to do something. They're going to come after LeBron. Mark my word. And so, you can make of it as you want, but that's what they do to the black man. So I don't think that this was fair. But Magic, at the same time, I think deserves some accountability for this because I believe Magic could have walked away from the situation. First of all, he shouldn't have took the job, in my opinion. I think we can all agree on that. It wasn't a good choice. I don't think he's built to be anybody's employee. But then, second of all, if you're gonna walk away, just walk away, bro. Just walk away and get out. Stephen A. Smith is pretending to be outraged about the report, but he ain't really outraged. Stephen A. Smith likes it because it's going to generate conversation and traffic and viewership and all that. Stephen A. would never dare he would never dare to stand up to his bosses like that. Like at ESPN, they're the ones that are paying him the $10 million a year or whatever he's making. Stephen A. is pretending to be pissed off about the report. He ain't really pissed off. Stephen A. is just trying to stoke the fire so that he can get more viewership and all that. But Stephen A. is good at what he does. I was on his show a few times back in the day. I like the guy. I don't have any issues with him. A couple of issues, but not too many. All right, so do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that right now. Also, don't forget you're at drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. If you'd like to support the expansion of intelligent black media throughout the world, please visit intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So please go take a look at intelligentblackpeople.com. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Last but not least, our podcast is on iTunes and SoundCloud. So you can download either iTunes or SoundCloud, and you can listen to the podcast there. I got to go. You guys have a good day, and good luck to Magic. And if anything happens, maybe we'll hop back in and talk about it again. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.